Michelle, we've been waiting a long time for this one. We really have.
We went a little out of order, but we're here to right that wrong this year.
Yeah, I will admit, when I was watching this, Tom said, "You guys covered this already." And I said, "No, we didn't." He goes, "You guys released Home Alone 3 before you did 1 and 2?" And I said, "Yes, we did." But yes, listeners, Home Alone 3 was a favorite in our house, which we know is not, doesn't have a big cult following. So if you haven't listened to Home Alone 3 yet, that is from our first holiday season, I think, Michelle, right?
I think so, but
Yeah.
we don't have that one in video form, so I'm hopeful that after this release and our next release, wink wink, I was thinking about maybe re-releasing Home Alone 3 so that we have a
Love it.
nice even.
Yeah. After 3, we just don't do anymore. We've given up on that.
Oh yeah. No, it'll be 3 and then I mean, we're not
3 and
that
then,
ridiculous.
yeah, we're
Let's
not
not.
that
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Although I feel like for the amount that we love Home Alone 3, it does make me feel like we may need to go back and just force myself to watch the newer ones. But oh my gosh, what a joy to watch this the week leading into Thanksgiving, coming off the heels of last episode of The Family Stone. We're in the holiday spirit. This put me even more in the holiday spirit. Such a fantastic movie. It's so good. Michelle, do you have a standout moment of watching this movie, or is this just part of the fabric of holiday season rewatches?
Yep. Part of the fabric of holidays, part of the fabric of my childhood. This movie came out right around the right time for me. I was thinking, oh, I'm exactly Macaulay Culkin's age. And then I'm like, no, I think I'm a little younger than him. I'm probably Kieran Culkin's age. And then I went and looked that up. I'm actually younger than him, too. But
Wow.
I think when I was watching this, it was just really easy for me to identify with Kevin and all of the kids. I don't even know if you'll have a perspective on this, but we never owned this movie, and this doesn't seem like a movie that mom and dad would have sanctioned for me to watch as a young kid when I was watching it. However, I also feel like I've seen this movie many, many times, and most of them in my childhood. So someone had it. I don't
Yeah.
know who, and I was watching it a lot everywhere.
I don't know. I think it's just one of those ones that everyone always has on and other people owned it. I would think, and we have to consult mom and dad on this, but I don't, I think they just don't really enjoy it that much.
This
But
does not seem like a movie that mom and dad, even
yeah,
today, would be amused
yeah,
by.
I'm still amused. I'm still amused at 32, let me tell you. Yeah, I think it's really fun watching it now. And now that our nieces and nephews are old enough to watch it, our sister Lisa puts this on a lot for the kids. And we compare our nephew William a lot to Kevin McAllister because he's very handy. He's always, maybe not building traps to make irons fall on people's heads, but he could certainly like put together a very complex Lego set and fix a lot of things in the house for his age. So it's been really enjoyable kind of watching it through their eyes now.
How about you? Do you have memories of like a first time watching this, or a place or a friend or a family member that always had this on?
No, I think that a lot of these movies, when I was growing up, was, and this is probably even in a little bit of like later years, but just like ABC Family always doing the 25 Days of Christmas. And this was always one that came on. And that was just always something that I look forward to.
I think of all the Christmas movies, I guess I'll just speak for the ones that we've covered on the podcast so far, and you can go in our archives. We have a growing collection. I'd say this is the one that I think that I've probably seen the most, both as a kid and in my adulthood, because I think a lot of the other ones were like didn't come out until I was an adult, or I didn't get into it until I was older, or we may have had ones that we only watched as kids, like Home Alone 3. I really only remember from being younger. So I feel like this, in my mind, is a really true classic Christmas movie that has stood the test of time and will continue to. I have a whole list of things that I noticed this time around, ranging from like, how did I never realize that to everyone probably knew this and I didn't realize it. So, can I go through my little list and we can
Please.
discuss? Okay. The first is that there's this really great setup in the opening scene where they mention picking up micro machines, which are Kevin's little toys.
You can pick up those micro machines that are all over in there.
They mention fish hooks
I was making ornaments out of fish hooks.
and a voltage adapter, which are all things that Kevin ends up using to make his traps later on.
Yes. I think when I watched it in recent years, I started to put my writer hat on a little bit and was pulling apart some of the things that worked. And I did notice that, this movie isn't just any other silly Christmas kid movie. I think that it's very well thought out, very well written, lots
Yeah.
of great setup. So I was impressed.
Okay, so the second is this is more subtle, but when Kevin makes that wish that his family will go away and he's up in the third floor attic bedroom, and then they segue into this storm that knocks the power out. I never really thought about that whole sequence feels very almost like magical realism, like Matilda a little bit. And I think that if I didn't know anything about this movie and I saw that scene and I was watching it through my annoying writer lens, I would think, oh, Kevin cast some kind of spell, and then when he wakes up, his family is truly going to have disappeared.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I was kind of like, this is weird because that's not the movie is very realistic.
I think the thing for me that worked that I liked is, especially now watching this as an adult, but as a kid, like his whole thought, as an 8-year-old boy, he's not like, oh, they left for Paris. His mind, he's saying they disappeared because I wish this and this is all my fault. So I liked that aspect because there was this innocence to it of him truly believing that he had the power to do this and he didn't mean to. I think it worked in that sense, but I agree.
So you kind of saw it as, from a kid's point of view, that is what they're imagining happens.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, he even says it like he is convinced the whole time. He doesn't know that they left for Paris. So
Yeah.
I think that it works really well.
Okay. This was a actor sighting. The actress who played the airline gate agent in Paris, I kept looking at her and like, she looks so familiar, but I was kind of thrown because she had a French accent. And I looked it up, and the actress who plays her is Hope Davis. I don't know if you would know her by name, Laura, but she's in a bunch of Wes Anderson movies.
I've seen a lot of Wes Anderson films, but I don't know the actors by heart. So
I'll put a little picture of her up.
I had a realization this time with an actor. It was Sergeant
Balzac.
Balzac, who also plays Billy Madison's father's assistant in Billy
Yes.
Madison. And I actually saw him in Los Angeles once, which was such a random celebrity sighting. I can't remember where I was, but Dom was floored that I knew who he was because it was a very niche sighting, but it was fun to recognize it this time because he was so great in it.
We must have done some other movie that he was in because
Yes.
I remember you mentioning that you saw him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is the guy who Laura saw.
Yeah. That guy.
And this last thing, this is another more obvious thing, but I never realized that when Kevin makes that phone call right at the end when he calls the cops and he tries to do this pretend man voice and he says that his name is Murphy,
Yeah.
that I didn't realize that he was calling the cops to go to his neighbor's house and not his house because he is so smart that he has thought ahead that that's where he's sending the robbers, and also this will prevent the cops from finding him and knowing that he's home alone.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I always thought that it was Old Man Marley's house, and that was always confusing to me. So I also realized that this time.
We don't often have these like, oh my God, big things that we noticed. And then we also don't usually do unanswered questions on this podcast, but I also have a list of unanswered questions that I'd like to run by you at the end if we have time. And one
Yes.
of them involves Marley and that last scene.
I also just want a movie about Old Man Marley. Added.
Same. Yes.
We're adding it.
We're
adding
adding
it
it
to
to
the 2026 jar.
yes. Yes.
Also I'll save this, but I have another spin-off movie that I have a great idea for that you will
Oh,
be
so do
so
I. I wonder if
Oh.
it's the same one.
So aside from all the things that you noticed this time, I want to hear all your favorites.
Okay. You know me, I like to start big picture, and you already dropped that this the script is really good, but this story and this concept are really good. I mean, it's just so unique. It's so simple. It's so relatable for kids. It's relatable for adults. Maybe not relatable in the sense that people are like, "Oh, I've, left my kid home before," but I think adults even put themselves back into the kids' POV. So I think that this is just a masterpiece film, truly for all audiences, and there aren't very many films like that.
Yeah, there's really like not a comparison movie I can think of, and the fact that it's just so woven into Christmas. We have a
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, we have a Christmas Day, so it just becomes, I think, a family favorite that people can always go back and watch too.
I do think the script was good, but I think my favorite writing aspect of it was the pacing. I felt like this movie moved really fast. There was only one scene that I felt like it lagged a little bit, and I think it was more me remembering it lagging as a kid. This time, I'll talk about it later, but I felt like beginning to end, I was just like, as you would say, I was locked in.
Yeah, the opening is so great. It's so
So good.
chaotic. No matter if you're from a small or big family, I think everyone can relate to the overwhelm that you feel around the holidays, especially if you were going on a trip. And it's a perfect way to like introduce us to Kevin's world and him feeling so tiny around all these bigger, meaner humans, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, his parents, and the fact that they are using not just a random character who doesn't end up becoming important, but actually using the villain as like the pillar that all of them are speaking to. And he's asking them questions. And, it goes on for really long. Like he ends up essentially talking to every single person. He even has a conversation with Peter where you think, okay, this is the part where Peter's gonna like tell him that they're going out of town, but they just keep it going even after like the pizza spillage scene, and it lands all the way with Catherine O'Hara's character. So it's just really, really good. And the house itself it's so important. It's like the entire focal point of the movie, and it's a character in itself. And the fact that we just open with that and spend all of our time there and get to like know the house, and like you said, that's the only parts of the movie that he's with his family, so they have to kind of fit all these things in to set up these tidbits by the end of the movie. So just bravo for the people who had that idea to like have that as the opening. It was so much fun.
Because I haven't seen this movie from beginning to end, it was such a treat to just watch and be fully engaged in that opening scene. And I think one of my favorite comedic parts of it is it almost felt like older, like I Love Lucy-esque type thing where we have a police officer, or who's pretending to be a police officer, but as far as the family knows, there's a police officer standing in the foyer for what we can assume is like anywhere from 15 minutes to like 45 minutes, and he's talking to all the family members, and no one is acknowledging him, or no one is concerned. I think that the dad is the only person that says something like, "Oh, am I being arrested?" or something, and he's even saying it like in a jokey way. Like I feel like most people, if a police officer stepped into their home, they would have alarm.
I know that the actual house set design is fantastic and so flawless. I mean, it's so well thought out. I don't know if it's like a house that I would want to live in. I think it would be, but obviously a lot of like the decor is a little bit outdated, but of the time it was probably like mind-blowing to be watching this movie and just wanting to like replicate every crevice of the house.
The outside, I think, is timeless, flawless, not outdated. Still
Yeah.
always has been and always will be beautiful.
Yeah.
And the interior, there's a post that's floating around. It keeps re-popping up in my feed, but it's, and you've probably seen it, Laura, but it's comparing what the house looked like and I don't know if this is like an AI thing, but it's the house looked like in 1990 and then what the house looks like today. And it looks today like an insane asylum. Everything's white and sterile, and they've gotten rid of all of the coziness.
Oh, that
And
makes
we
me so
talked about this in our last episode, in the Family Stone episode, but I do think we're starting to turn back into that, the maximalist,
yes.
the wallpaper, the clutter, the life in a home.
I will say I really like their kitchen. Like I love those
Even
blue
the
countertops.
the
I do
tile,
like the blue. Yeah, I like the blue tile. There's things that are again a little bit too maximalist for me, but I love especially houses and movies where they're able to use, like the laundry chute and all these like tiny aspects that end up becoming important. And I know that like an ongoing Kevin fear is like of the basement. He ends up like calling it back when he's having that conversation with the old man Marley. But oh my God, basements still scare me. I'm still
yeah.
like turning on all the lights. And if there was that radiator, heater, whatever that thing is, I would be equally as afraid. There's just a lot of those like little details that they were able to use. Like we talked a lot about this in the Family Stone, but they did a great job of bringing the McAllister kids like personalities to life through Buzz's room and his parents, and then like the attic, which is a little bit spooky. They think they did a really good job of it. I don't remember if they showed us his sisters or his other brother's room. I can't remember. It makes me feel like they didn't because I'm not remembering it, but I think Buzz's room was enough for all of them.
Okay, well, to skip ahead to my big unanswerable question, did we ever see Kevin's room?
No, I don't think so. I get it that like he was afraid, so he slept in his parents' room the whole time and he sleeps on the top floor, but maybe that was a set decision because they didn't have like enough budget to build out like another room or something like that. Like they only had a set number of spots that they could film or decorate. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, but I think it kind of works. And
Yeah.
the more things we mentioned, like I was thinking when you mentioned the basement and specifically the furnace, we're supposed to be in Kevin's shoes throughout this whole movie
Yeah.
from his point of view. And I like how the furnace kind of has some of that magical realism, like almost like he was talking to it. And I had never realized this before because I don't think I had watched with the captions on, but he does kind of hear the furnace say his name. He says,
Yeah.
so I think the thing with the bedrooms and like him sleeping in his parents' room and just ignoring that his room exists somewhere, I think is a very kid thing to do. I could legit see him just never going into it because he now has access to his parents. It's not like it was like a younger siblings. It's his parents and his oldest brother's room. That's where all the good stuff is.
Yeah. I know it was always my unanswered or annoyed question that I'm like, how does he clean everything up in time by the time they get home in the morning? But Buzz does say at the end, like, Kevin, what did you do to my room? So
Yeah.
maybe he didn't clean up that part. Going back to the chaos of before they leave, I was really appreciating like all of the 90s outfits of all the kids. They really, I feel like, put effort into it instead of just like, I feel like everyone kind of had their own personality. The movie ends up shifting to really more of a solo movie with all the other adults that Kevin ends up meeting or interacting with while his parents are away. But we don't get like that much time with the entire McAllister family. They kind of pop in and out. So I'm happy that we had that very like strong beginning to meet all of them.
I know we keep talking about our last episode that we recorded, The Family Stone, but in that episode, we had both of us were kind of like annoyed that they used the Nutcracker music during like the zany scene. And so in this movie, they also have a very zany scene and they take it even further. It's when they wake up in the morning and realize that they're late and they're all running around, and it's kind of in edited or filmed in high
Yeah.
speed. And I thought that the music, which is original music, we need to have a whole discussion about
So
how much the music in this movie is phenomenal. That works so much better for me. I'm like,
yes.
this is like the right tone, but it's not like this generic song that everyone is using in all of their Christmas movies when something like
Yeah.
this happens.
I know, and I agree the editing, I mean, I know nothing about camera work whatsoever or editing, but that was I feel like probably very cool for the time to do like the speed up
Yeah.
version of them all rushing and throwing suitcases. And then they kind of like they even go through that. I know it's not that long of a sequence, but I always do remember that part where Heather is counting all the kids and they kind of like they really draw it out of wow, they really fucked up. Like they were not paying attention at all.
Can we pause at the head counting scene? Because another thing that I noticed and I was just made me smile so much watching this and laugh is that this neighbor kid,
Yeah, it's because it's the Murphys, you know, how we were talking about that he ends up picking their house. So his name
yeah,
is Mitch Murphy, the
Mitch
one who
Murphy.
goes to
Okay,
Florida.
who goes to Orlando
Yeah.
specifically. So Mitch Murphy, I didn't meet my husband until he was in his 20s, but from everything I've gathered from his family, this was my husband as a kid.
How fast does this thing go? Does it have automatic transmission? Does it have four-wheel drive?
He's like asking a million questions. He's being annoying and he's like being very chatty with an adult that he doesn't know. I also think that this kid looks like how Jimmy did when he was a kid a little bit.
I specifically did have written down, I cannot stand Mitch Murphy. I wouldn't take him out of the movie because he is so
I mean,
important, very pivotal character. But I think if I was the driver, I would have said the same thing. Hey kid, beat it. Sorry, Jimmy. So what else? What were some other big things for you?
well, I feel like we have to talk about just how good Macaulay Culkin is in this. I mean, I don't think he was nominated for an Oscar, but I feel like he should have won an Oscar for this.
I know.
He's in most of the movie. There aren't very many scenes without him in it. So he's really like he's putting in the time, he's working, he is believable. We get so many of these like little tender moments, like we're able to see our nephews in him because he's acting like a real kid. But he's also in a movie and he is entertaining and he's doing things beyond what a regular kid would do, but it doesn't ever take us out of it. It's a great balance. And hard to say, like, could another kid have done this because the part was written so well? But I don't think so. I think that we need to give a lot of credit to the actor.
Yeah, he really has to do a lot. I mean, the action and setup scenes alone are a lot, but he has a range of emotions from like fear to sweetness to like desperation to bravery. We really get this like wide range of emotions from a child. He ended up having like a pretty important character development. Like he
Yeah.
started off as this really bratty, hopeless kid, and then he realizes that he just really wants to be with his family. So it's pretty complex for an 8-year old, I will say.
Laura, can you imagine this movie being told only from his point of view? I feel like this would be more of like an artsy take on it, but
Yeah.
I feel like there could be a version of this where we're not seeing any of the scenes like with his family when they're
Yeah.
separated.
Yeah, I definitely could, but I think I just enjoy it in this way so much more because they're still able to show us like how he like you end up feeling like you're in it from his shoes, but
Mm-hmm.
like you have different viewpoints. And I think because, which I know we haven't even gotten into, but Marv and Harry are just such important characters in tying a bow around this movie and bringing us all the comedic relief. So I think that also having it like scenes of just the two of them interacting without Kevin even involved,
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah,
what
that's
like
true.
makes the movie so iconic.
I would really be missing
Yeah.
that the most. I was only considering like
Yeah.
all the France scenes, which are
Yeah.
fine, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like, and again, just going back to like childhood fears, but that is totally like, I feel like most kids when you were like growing up in the 90s were like afraid of burglars. Like you were
Oh, of
afraid of
course.
people breaking into the
Top
house.
three fear. Yeah.
Yes. So it felt very like familiar, but you know, in a movie, it's always fun that it's not someone quote unquote scary. I mean, to him, they were scary because they're like in the shadows of his window and sticking their foot in here, but they're really just two idiots that bring us so much joy throughout. I can't remember if I read this last time, but I know that like Joe Pesci like almost didn't do this movie, which I think would have been such a loss. But their like on screen chemistry and comedy working off of each other was just so much fun. I don't know. I actually really enjoyed even the smaller scenes of Kevin like interacting with the store clerk and then like having that long conversation with old man Marley at the end. Like I think that
Mm.
they didn't have to like include all these things because they weren't so important to the plot, but it made the time that he was home alone feel really long, even
Mm-hmm.
though we're only talking about what 48 hours. Like it felt like he was home alone for a week and a half by making him like go to the store and get a toothbrush and having like multiple layers of interactions with Marv and Harry. Like it wasn't just he was listening to them talking about breaking in. They like try and come in once and he's kind of setting up these like diversions in the moment. All of those tiny comedic interactions were comedic relief, but they also were like important to making us feel like this was a really like long time for an 8-year-old child to be by
Yeah.
himself.
With Marvin Harry, this is again another great like perfect balance of like as kids, I was like truly I think more scared of the concept of them than them specifically, but still like believable that a kid would be scared of them. They're a little bit more advanced than something of I always think of like the prototype for this is the two guys in 101 Dalmatians who work for Cruella DeVille. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of like filling in those shoes. I always enjoy the like the bad guys as comic relief
Yes.
style,
Oh,
like
so
that
good.
take on it. Yeah,
I know. And I know they wouldn't have, it would have been a completely different movie if they made it like a serious, but I don't know. They do, even like you think about a movie like Die Hard. I mean, it's not a kid's movie, but that's like an intense, like action film. Like they could make this more of like a thriller where it's like a kid
yeah.
is literally left home by himself and these
Oh
like
yeah.
terrifying men are like trying to break into the neighborhood. So I think that like the tone was just so much more enjoyable.
I feel like that could be a fun film school assignment. Is like
Yeah.
remake Home Alone, take it in a completely different direction,
Yeah.
but like sticking to the same concept.
Yeah. I know that we're talking about like all the interactions with Kevin. We kind of flipped to like the movie really being about him and having all these like sweet moments of him making his own Christmas tree and like decorating because he's like wishing that his family will come home. So they kind of, I don't know, they just like kind of do this like sweet and innocent tone with, combining with action. But I love like the whole part where his mom ends up like meeting the Kenosha kickers and like I know it's such a small part of the movie, but that was like such a I think talking about this length of time that felt so long as a kid, like on the opposite end of that, like as a mother, neither of us have kids, but I can imagine it probably felt like 3 weeks for her. And they really like are adding in all these layers for her to like have to jump through hoops to get home to him. And I know that's kind of like the last section of her like finally making it home, but it was like the best decision that they could have made for it. And one of my idea jars was, what if she runs away with the Kenosha Kickers? She's like, I love Kevin, or at least she like goes home, sees Kevin, and then she's like, I love the Kenosha Kickers so much that I'm gonna go on
I'm
the
joining a polka band.
like what if she leaves Peter because he's an aloof father and she starts a new life with the Kenosha Kickers?
It's like, you left the garage open. I mean,
Yes. These are things that they didn't have to really include. It was not important for the plot. They could have just left it out and she ends up getting home eventually or finds like some last minute flight. But the fact that they included like the car and the drive was just so enjoyable to me. Such a joyful decision for them to include.
yeah, I feel like John Candy is like the angel in this story, coming in
Yes.
and like saving her and being so sweet and so kind, and really like seeing so much innocence in him. And of course, we both have idea jar moments from this section of the movie. So I was thinking of it in a different way. This is again like I'm so, I guess, inspired by just conceptually this story, but I was thinking, oh, it'd be really cool to create a shorter film that just starts with when Kate meets him in the airport and like their whole journey to get home. Like that's the whole story. Even deeper, even smaller, because we only
Yes.
really got that one little scene inside the van.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine there are lots of other interesting things that happened in between Scranton and getting back to Chicago.
The immediate thing that comes to mind is they absolutely ate hot dogs together on the side of the
Yes.
road. Like, there's just no way they didn't. I'm blanking on what his name is, but when the two of them,
Gus,
Gus,
I think it's
they're
Gus
kind of having,
Polinski. Yeah.
yes, they're kind of having their heart to heart, and I'm picturing that on a bigger scale where all of them are kind of like going around the circle, like saying confessions.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, it's just like so funny when they cut to that scene and they're just all playing and she's stuck. And it's so great because it's a budget van. Like, it's not like they're in this car and they have their own seats. They're just like starting this family band in the back of a moving truck. Totally
Incredible. So good.
so enjoyable. Just talking about like side characters. I always love that interaction with the Santa Claus. And it's again that innocence of him saying, I know you're not him. Like, I know I'm aware of how it works, but I do know that you work for him. And, that he's just like outside of his car smoking a cigarette. And he has, he even goes into like the deeper mention of that his elf like took all the candy canes and brought them home to her boyfriend. We see that in a lot of other like comedic holiday movies with, Elf and having the fake Santa who smells like beef and cheese, and like all of the bad Santas in Jingle All the Way. And I almost just want to get like all of the fake Santas together from these movies.
Yeah, that was a scene that I had completely forgotten about. I
Yeah.
don't feel like it's one that I knew, and they immediately hooked me in by the Santa's house is
Yes.
like gorgeous. I'm like, I want to live in this in this little gingerbread house.
Yeah, and I also think they did a good, I mean, it's not anything that's like groundbreaking, but it's sweet that they had Kevin again like leave the house throughout the week, and there was this center of town, so he was able to like go to the stores. He went back to the church like 2 separate times. So he has more of like a out of house adventure without him being stuck in there the whole time. What were your thoughts on his grand realization in the church with Old Man Murphy? Wait, what is it? Old Man Murphy, or am I mixing up the Murphy? Wait, Old Man
Marley.
Old Man
It's
Marley.
Marley.
Yeah.
Someone is Murphy though. Oh, Murphy is the
Murphy.
neighbor.
There's Marley, there's Murphy, there's
Yeah.
McAllister. They're really leaning
Oh,
into the
only M's on this street.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was the scene that I was referring to that I
Yeah.
felt like was the only part in the movie that felt a little long. I really appreciated it. I felt like there was a lot of important information that they exchanged. Yeah, I thought it was like a sweet scene. And again, being able to see this character be able to talk to adults but still be a kid.
Yeah.
That balance again. I'm so impressed by how well that they were able to pull that off.
They don't go one way or the other with Kevin and his character. They stay consistent with him being like so earnest and also so childlike, because there's that part at the end of his conversation where he's saying like, you really want to be able to talk to your son around Christmas. And he's like, and I'm sure your granddaughter is upset too, because, she wants presents. They really like commit to his innocence, but also like his wisdom of being able to like have to face his fear of this scary old man that he has thought has been a murderer the whole time. I did have this note down of Buzz's description of old man Marley when they're staring out the window and watching him shovel, like the salt on his driveway. I was thinking this was absolutely Buzz's audition tape, because it was
Yes.
so
Oh,
strong.
yes.
But I do think like the church setting was really just like very peaceful, and it was kind of this perfect cut in the cake. I feel like the way that I think of that scene is almost like right when it starts to snow and it's like very silent, because they're also like singing Silent Night, but it's this very like quiet part of the movie, which is not really present throughout. So
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I was talking about the pacing. Like,
yeah.
we do need to catch our breath watching this, and
Yeah.
that really is the perfect time to put that scene in there.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the payoff, like the emotional payoff of that, I was just like bawling by the end of this movie. And like, I knew it was coming. I was like, this is going to happen. He's going to reunite with the son. You don't need to cry about it every time, but I can't help it.
Well, it's snowing. He has like the snow in his hair, and it's just, and he doesn't just give him the nod, he gives him like the friend wave. And you just know they're going to be friends forever.
Yeah,
like,
they're going to be friends.
He's going to go over for tea. They're going to hang out after all of this. Buzz is going to become friends with him.
Yep.
Everyone's going to be friends with old man Marley.
I think it was like a double dose of emotions, because part of why I'm crying is that I'm seeing this man like reunite with his son and his granddaughter, his family on Christmas. But then it's also he's acknowledging Kevin for it. He's saying thank you. This little kid helped this adult through this big moment in his life.
I always wonder, not that they needed this because it would have gone on too long, but I always wondered what him and Kevin's conversation was after he saved him. And he says like, oh, let's get you home. Like, I just picture him like wrapping him in a blanket and asking him if he wants like some cocoa or something.
Okay, I'm going to just weave these in as they come.
Yeah.
Another unanswerable question is, I was ready to like let it go that Marley saw Kevin in church by himself. It didn't really say anything like, where's your family? But then at the end when he says like, let's get you home.
Yeah.
Like what did happen? Did he bring him home? Did he watch him go home? Is he not like, hey, I haven't really seen his parents, or like, what was his conversation with the police after that?
I feel like the rest is so strong that it doesn't even bother me. Like, I feel like it's supposed to be so aloof and not make any sense because the family's like so checked out regardless. But I like to think that Kevin is like so sly that he said to him, all right, I'm going to be real with you. I think my parents disappeared. And like, he truly believes that. And old man Marley, maybe he called someone or was trying to like make a call, but there's really no way to contact them. So I feel like they just had like an understanding.
Yeah.
They shook on it,
Yep.
He feels like an honorable man that he would like respect an 8-year-old's wishes.
I'll accept that.
Okay. Before we get into nitpicks, can we talk about our favorite traps?
First off, I want a drawing of the battle plan. I think that that would be like such a fun piece of art to hang up
Yes.
during Christmas. This is like boring, but I've always loved the paint cans because it's such a like simple, elegant execution. And it also is like very, I know it's all physical comedy,
Yeah.
but I imagine like a slide whistle as that, comes
Yes.
swinging in. And I feel like it's a great visual.
And it doesn't miss either of them. He gets both.
No,
He really does not miss with any of his traps, which is
no.
really impressive.
And then I had one other new appreciation. I really loved the zip line. I thought
Yes.
that that was really fun to have a kid get to do that in a movie. I think that all kids, and I mean, still as an adult, I think zip lines are really, I mean, I would never want to do it like in the jungle or anything, but our neighbors had one when we were kids.
Yeah.
And sadly, when we started hanging out with them, I was like, they were younger than me. So I was always like a little too tall to do it. I'd really have to like lift my feet to zip across between the trees.
Oh, Michelle.
I know. But then I also loved the physicality of then having Harry and Marv go across it,
Yes.
them kind of being scared and not trusting it, and then having Kevin cut it. This is the kind of thing I love to see on a screen. Like they're like using the props, and there's movement, and there's just like such a great combination of fun and comedy and intrigue. Like your heart's pounding a little bit. Like, are they going to make it? Is Kevin going to make it?
And I really just love that he starts out with the BB gun because the use of the dog door was so strong. But then the fact that they kind of break in two and then each of them have like their individual traps is just so funny to me. And I'll save it for when we get to favorite scenes and favorite lines. But the slippery steps are like
Is that a
just
favorite for you?
just such a good, not even a favorite, just they he really hit them hard before they could even get in the house.
I like how that you mentioned the ice because I feel like that's similar to the paint cans, just like
Yeah.
a very like
Very,
elegant,
very classy.
easy, like
Yeah.
like anyone could do those. Those aren't
Yeah.
those didn't require like the blowtorch setup and the fan and all that. Like I wouldn't know
Yeah.
how to do that.
All of it was so fun and makes me laugh so much. Joe Pesci could literally make me cry laughing doing anything.
I felt like when I was watching it this time as an adult, I know and have seen My Cousin Vinny now so many times
Yeah.
that I really like saw some of that coming through.
Anything else for you of favorites from this movie?
I feel like we just need to do a quick mention. I know we brushed on it before, but the music. John Williams, obviously like a legendary
Yeah.
movie music person, but this might be his best. It is, he hits all the notes, all the tones, really sweeps our emotions. I especially wanted to call out the song that's playing while Kevin is getting ready, when he's
Yes.
laying all the traps. Always thought in my mind was Carol of the Bells, and it's not exactly like it. It's reminiscent of that tone, but John Williams composed his own version of it, and I think it works so well. When I hear Carol of the Bells now, I think scary, but like you would never think, oh, there's a scary Christmas song. Like it doesn't fit, but because of this movie, it does fit.
Yeah, and it also has, I don't know, there's like this one specific part of the song where it sounds like dun, 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 and it's kind of like feels like going downstairs.
Oh, yes, well
Yeah.
said. I love
Very
that.
spooky. Lots of
Ugh.
lots of stairs in the
Yeah,
coming.
yes.
Ugh.
Big staircase movie.
I'm actually excited for this episode's What Did We Not Like because it was some additional comedic relief for me to run through all the things that stood out to me. So the first is Kevin's immediate fear of packing. And they made such a big deal about it. It was such a personality trait for him. And it just brought up feelings of like panic before needing to pack for a trip. I think I've come a long way and I'm more of a delayed packer now, but a more efficient packer. But I used to like just take forever. So it was more like there were also other children at 8 years old who were struggling with the anxiety of packing. There was one, I don't know if it was the door knocker or a wreath that they had up, but there was like a really unnerving Santa Claus, like porcelain face. There's a lot of like creepy Santa Clauses and elves. Like, I think that Elf on the Shelf is borderline terrifying.
But I mean, just think of like the concept of like having a face on your front door.
Yeah, I
Like,
could do
no,
that.
we don't want that.
I love wreaths, but I've become anti-wreaths after mom and dad keep having birds flying into their house every time
Oh,
they
I
have
forgot.
birds. So I'm just gonna actually rename this section for this episode things that bring on anxiety for Laura. So I have two things, and they both have to do with loud noises.
Okay.
The movie that Kevin watches throughout the whole film, they really turn up the volume when Johnny kills snakes. And I
Yeah.
could have done with it one time, but they play it like three separate times, and it's just too much for me. Like, I always need to turn down the volume on my remote. And additionally, Kevin McAllister screaming. Let's
Yeah,
cut it.
I've never,
Let's
I hated that even as a kid.
let's just do one. Let's stick to
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
You get one scream and you get one killing of snakes, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then my last thing is, I've never understood why people have pet tarantulas, but I wouldn't say dings at the movie as much as, again, this is, I think, is anxiety corner. Yes.
All valid fears. More fearful as an adult than a kid, I think, for most of
Tarantulas,
us.
basements, loud noises,
And
packing for
packing.
trips.
All right, I have a very short list. The first one, surprisingly, you brought up earlier under the "What did we like" section. I just wrote a big note that said I dislike guns. Like, I get the right to own them
Yeah.
legally, but like, let's not put them in kids' movies and
Yeah.
show kids using them. Even though I get it's a BB gun, and for this
The
movie it was harmless, but I guess this is more of a dig on society than the movie. I think when this movie came out, it was probably okay, but like with everything that has happened since then, like, to see like a kid holding something that looks like a rifle is like
Yeah.
very unnerving.
Yeah, agree. I think I more so like the act of just Marv getting it hit in the head with like a pinball. So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
wish they
that
could
was
have
fun.
switched it to like a pinball machine or something that gave him as much force as
Maybe a slingshot
slingshot.
that hasn't been
Slingshot.
bastardized yet.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay, and then my other two go together food moments. So in our last episode, we talked about the delightful idea of having pizza during the holidays, maybe like right before the main holiday, and how fun it is with like getting cozy with your family. This pizza family scene was, I hated it. I was so grossed out when Buzz pretends to do the barfing. The inclusion of having milk in close proximity to pizza completely grosses me out. And then later on, when Kevin has his kind of like fancy Christmas Eve dinner, he also does mac and cheese with milk. And that also, I mean, I love the two independently, but
But don't you
no.
feel like the pizza scene was very reflective of their family?
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't have been them if they were sitting around peacefully in the living room by a fire eating pizza.
I think it was less about the chaos and more about the pretending to barf
Fair.
near the food
Also very
and
buzzed.
the milk spill. I know that mom said that we have to use up the milk, but milk
Yeah.
spilling near pizza makes me very uncomfortable.
Agree. I think milk should be reserved for hot cookies only.
Yes,
But it
cookies,
also
milk,
made
brownies.
Kevin have to go to the grocery store while they were away. So
That's true.
another just playing annoying devil's advocate. It's
Yeah,
pretty
well, and
short.
also you're so pro milk association, so
Yes.
big milk presence in this movie.
Big milk. Big milk. We love it.
Can I get into a couple of my unanswered questions? We addressed
Yes.
some of them. The ones I have left are, is it weird to you that they left both cars home with the garage door open and that Kevin
Okay.
never considers driving one of them?
Yeah, that would have felt like a very Kevin move, but
Yeah.
I think he
Maybe
would have,
deleted scene.
yeah, yeah, added to the idea jar. Kevin goes on a
Yes.
road trip. Kevin
Yes.
Kevin tries to drive to Paris.
Okay, this was a big one. How is it that the entire house, exterior included with the scary Santa face, is decorated, but they didn't put the Christmas tree up inside?
Hmm. I think they just did it so that Kevin could have that cute scene of cutting down the tree in the yard.
It was a
His
cute
little
scene.
his little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I like to believe that Kate was like, I'm so stressed out that I'm not even looking forward to decorating or going to get a tree this year, and we're going to Paris, so we can have
No
one when we
tree.
get home.
All right. I don't know if you clocked this. This is my last thing since we already addressed my other questions, but is it possible that someone in the McAllister family works as a seamstress and or in the textile industry? Because I spotted two instances of sewing machines, one in the basement, one in the parents' room, and if not, why are there so many mannequins in this house?
Hmm. Oh my God. Yeah, the mannequins. That's a good point. Maybe that was something that they wrote in, but they didn't deliver on.
So I'm going to dig a little deeper. It feels like a backstory that they didn't have time for.
Yeah, agree. Maybe Kevin's aunt brought her sewing machine as well.
Maybe. And I felt like so the second time you see it is toward the end of the movie when he's in their bedroom, and it also seems like they have one of those screens that someone might get changed behind, and there were a lot of
Yeah.
like
Well,
fabrics.
my thought was that unless it was in there to begin with, but I always thought that the sewing machine was just up there because Kevin was using it to like build things in the bedroom.
Oh.
So it was Kevin's.
So maybe he moved it from the basement into the
Yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah, he was getting ballsy with the basement. He's like, not only can I go down to the basement, I can get the sewing machine and bring it upstairs
And the
with the
mannequins.
and the mannequins.
And then he put them all back because the Michael Jordan cutout was back on the wall after
Yeah.
he used it. He's very good at cleaning up. We'll give him
Yeah,
that.
he really is.
Favorite scene, same as when I was a kid. I love the rocking around the Christmas tree. I thought it was like so clever, and I think that there's something about it that because we grew up in a house that kind of always had people in it, it was very rare to be alone in our house. There were always people stopping by, there were always random people sleeping over. I know I've said this to you before because you know that a lot of times when I can't fall asleep, I listen to podcasts because I like having voices when I'm falling asleep. And I think it's because I always felt safe going to sleep knowing that like there were adults downstairs
Yeah.
like hanging out. So the idea of having like a full house is the ultimate security system for me. So I love that he was able to create that. That song is so great. That scene is so fun. And I
Yeah.
think when I was a kid, I always remember saying like, why didn't he just do that again the next night?
I know. And we didn't really talk about this earlier, but just to give them the like credit of the loudness and the chaos when they were leaving and how silent it was when he wakes up in the morning and
Oh.
like how much you are missing the loudness when it's gone.
Two favorite lines and then two favorite exchanges. My first is at the beginning when Joe Pesci is pretending to be the cop and he can't get anyone's attention and he says,
All kids, no parents. Probably a fancy orphanage.
and then right after that, Kevin says,
When I grow up and get married, I'm living alone.
So cute.
great written line. And then my favorite exchanges, both are Harry and Marv, of course.
Why the hell did you take your shoes off?
Why the hell you dressed like a chicken?
And then this was a new one that I noticed this time, again in the kind of zip line scene.
You're gonna call the cops!
He's not calling it from a treehouse.
The delivery was very
Yeah.
my cousin Vinny.
Oh, so good. I had both of those. Those were the two that I had highlighted as my favorite ones.
Love it.
So good. Just the way that he says from a treehouse.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I don't really have like a specific favorite scene, but I just love during the trap scenes, the part where Marv is like running barefoot in the snow, I was losing it because he just looks so ridiculous. And then it goes into them eventually like having that exchange of why are your shoes off, why are you dressed like a chicken, like he just like completely destroys them in that moment, and just the comedy is so good. Also, even though I hate the guns and the loud noises, I do love the first time that Marv is like eavesdropping and he's so afraid that these gangsters are like have already broken into the house. And it's such a stupid concept if you think about it. Like you really think that someone else got there first and has this job, and Harry's like so serious about it that we have to stick around and kind of like check out who it is. But just they're having that exchange and he's like,
There was arguing. One of them blew the other one away.
they're trying to figure out who Snakes is. And then I have to give a shout out to Catherine O'Hara because she makes me laugh and cry the entire movie at the same time. She's like making me emotional but making me laugh. And I love that scene where she's kind of like on her last legs before she meets the Kenosha Kickers, and she's having the exchange with the guy who works for the airline.
I'm terribly sorry, ma'am, but we're doing absolutely everything we can.
And then she has this like such a great exchange with this woman who kind of goes up next. She's like,
Go ahead, on your way. I'm sorry. Excuse me, you have places to go, people to see. Got a ticket there. It's good.
and then she's like, no, you know what? And she goes back to the desk and she says,
I've been from Chicago to Paris to Dallas to... Where the hell am I?
and she uses the line, this is the season of perpetual hope. This is Christmas. Oh, she's just so good. But just that comedy of like giving up, but then like going back in and being like, never mind. And
Yeah, I wonder, you made me think of this because you brought it up with Buzz, if that, when Catherine O'Hara is at the counter, if that was her audition scene. Because I feel like that's like her big moment. Yeah.
So good. All right, so we did talk a little bit about the pizza, but it's still definitely made me nostalgic for having like pizza the night before a big event or holiday. I always love the retro Pepsi can that Fuller is drinking, and I always love that line. I quote that a lot with our cousin Denise. Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi. I am definitely more of a Coca-Cola girl. I would definitely prefer a Coca-Cola with my salty pizza over a Pepsi, but the can makes me very happy. Uncle Frank is eating shrimp cocktail in Paris, which is a big yes for me. And I agree. I think that the mac and cheese, I would have gone, like, I have nothing against microwavable mac and cheese, but I would lose the milk. Any big food moments for you?
Yeah, well, I have to start with issuing a, not correction, but just addressing for our big fans of the show who listen to all the episodes. If you listen to the Family Stone episode, we did not bring up champagne theory, but I had written down a note. I just forgot to bring it up. We're going to count that because Claire Danes' character, Julie, invited Everett to New Year's Eve, and we have to presume that there's going to be champagne there. So that's our champagne connection. But there was no like visual champagnes in the Family Stone.
Yeah.
But this movie, we're legit covered. Uncle Frank, the second he steps into that first class cabin,
Champagne, please. Yes. It's free, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
he's he's being very annoying on the flight. He also tries to steal the crystal, I guess it's the salt and pepper shakers.
Put it in your purse. I love Uncle Frank. He's kind of like the quintessential person around the holidays. He is like the peak gallery of annoying people on Christmas who have no etiquette about how to be kind to other people.
And you mentioned the shrimp. Did you notice in that scene, I don't know, I guess that's like the aunt who lives in France is like, no, like it's not time to bring that out yet. Not the shrimp. Yeah. And he's just like, he's going for it.
Yeah.
I will link to this, but Jimmy sent me this interesting reel today that was talking about how in an original version of the script that Uncle Frank was kind of written to be like the big bad, that he had actually hired Harry and Marv to burgle the house because he was like jealous of his brother. So I don't know if you rewatch the movie anytime soon through that lens and just see him being extra evil. I think it all checks out with what ends up being left in the film.
I'm happy that wasn't the case because he's just
it was like it was just
a little bit of a
too
stretch.
much. Yeah. All right, so non-Uncle Frank other food moments. Popcorn while jumping on the bed was fun. Like he actually was like his own little kernel of popcorn jumping around. The epic ice cream sundae, even though I was like so grossed out by the pizza milk scene, I was not grossed out by that sundae. I was like, I want that, even though it was like melty and there was like too much stuff in it. But
I'm always grossed out by the aftermath of the sundae, though. But it was a great inclusion for like an 8-year-old. Just being able to eating junk food and watching rubbish was the right move.
Yeah, he went right for that. Our guy, Larry Hankin, who played Sergeant Balzac, was eating a donut while he was on the phone. He was so involved in it that you can actually see there's like part of the donut ends up on the receiver. And then when they cut away, when you get more of like a zoomed out view, he has a stack of more donuts just next to him on his desk. So
yeah,
I
absolutely love that entire scene of the woman calling Mrs. McAllister hyper and asking, all the questions. Is your child abused? Do we need to, send child protected services?
That little scene, because those two actors playing the police officers are so good that it feels like it came out of like, one of those TV shows where they would do like a skit, like a variety show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of aloof adults in this movie.
We're continuing our aloof theme from last week.
Oh, a lot of something I did not point out, a big snow globe season as well, because Marv and Harry have like 6 snow globes.
On the dashboard.
I think that they stole that van. They must have, because but I could see Marv like being a snow globe collector. Oh,
but
and
this
also,
is exactly what you hate. You hate more than one snow globe.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like a room of snow globes. Like, it's kind of funny that it's about 5.
The last food item, I really appreciated that what he left out for Santa was like the quintessential perfect plate of cookies, the carrots, and the milk.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about this in our, what was it, the Elf episode. So I'll link to the old reel that we shared, but we kind of get into the history of like how our family got ready for Santa coming, and it was not this.
Her certified organic carrot. This is not sponsored by that brand like Misfit Foods, but that is what I'm picturing, like a misfit carrot that was like neglected. Well, I'm really excited for this week's dinner party. I actually have pre-selected the people that I want to invite, and because the house was so empty, I am thinking that we should do a couple more people this year, and maybe some people can like, bring plates, or it doesn't need to be food items if we're running out of ideas. But
kind of like an open house, like a holiday open house.
Yeah, it's like if the mannequins were people and Kevin was throwing a party. For you, I'm giving you Sergeant Balzac, of course.
Okay, perfect.
The tarantula who already lives there. But the clarinet player from the Kenosha Kickers, I can't remember his name. Well, actually, no, it might have been Gus who's the clarinet player. So maybe like
Gus plays the clarinet. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's invite Gus. But I kind of like the idea of like the driver, the guy who like waves to him. I don't know what he plays, but just one of the Kenosha Kickers, and the cigarette smoking Santa who gifts Kevin the Tic Tacs.
Perfect. Okay, I am bringing the pizza delivery boy. The sister, the one with the braces and the blonde hair. And our last guest is going to be Snakes from Angels with Filthy Souls.
Well, is it before he dies, or is it?
I'm picturing, like in The Sandlot when he has the vision of Babe Ruth and he's like in black and white.
Yes.
Like I'm picturing him appearing in black and white. Yeah.
He's in a striped suit. This feels
Yeah.
so right.
So it feels a little ghost-like. It could be the ghost of him. That
The
makes sense.
ghost of snakes. So this
The
is
ghost of
post
snakes.
after Johnny pumps him full of blood.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'm already like losing track. All right, so
Okay.
my first assignment is Sergeant Balzac.
Sergeant Balzac, the tarantula who's already there. I think her name, I think she is a female name. I think her name is Debbie. I don't know why.
Okay.
I feel like the Kenosha kicker, the one who's like the driver, and the cigarette smoking Santa with the tick.
Okay.
We can make this a fast one too. Like it could be we're doing a lightning round of a holiday party because in true fashion, this is a very fast paced movie and people aren't sitting around coming up with recipes. So
Okay, well, I think Sergeant Balzac, we know that he likes donuts and he's eating the full size. So I think oh God, they don't have Dunkin' Donuts in Chicago though, do they?
But they probably have something similar. I would find it hard to believe that Chicago doesn't have like good donut places because they're good with like hearty foods, you know?
Okay, so whatever the equivalent of Munchkins is in Chicago, I think that he's bringing a box of that because he's like, I'm not going to give them the full size, but I still like donuts. This is my thing.
A good accompaniment to all the McAllister milk in the household. So
that's true. This is appropriate to pair with the milk.
Yes, agree.
Okay. All right. The spider, Debbie the spider, which great name because the tarantula equivalent in Home Alone 3 is Doris the rat.
Yes.
So
Doris
also a
and
D
Debbie
name.
are cousins.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Debbie the tarantula. Oh, well, Buzz mentioned that, don't worry, she had just eaten some, what was it, mice guts?
Yeah, like mice guts. So she's good for a couple weeks.
Do you think that she would bring something like mouse related, or do you think she's trying to cater to the humans? She would probably bring like a wedge of Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And pass it off like she's trying to like contribute to the party, but really she's just trying to attract the mice so that she can eat the mice.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like kind of a mousetrap situation.
You could also play it off. I keep thinking, I'm like, why do I know nothing about tarantulas. I feel like they eat fruit. So I feel like maybe she would do like a charcuterie board. Like she's like responsible for like the appetizers. And she's like, this is perfect. I have the cheese.
All right, so multiple cheeses, some hard cheeses, some goat, and then some like grapes.
Yes.
Like a nice grape.
This feels
and then like a little like spread of crackers.
Total Debbie.
And then I'm sure she has her own stash of like holiday, one of those little knives.
What if Debbie has like
handle.
a charcuterie Instagram? She has like her own, like she makes like custom charcuterie boards. She's like,
I feel like this checks out because spiders like
small business owner.
I mean, spiders weave like those like very intricate, beautiful webs.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that she's like artsy.
Yeah, she like
This fits.
especially like for her like Halloween charcuterie boards, like she really goes above and beyond.
That's her season. She's like,
Yes.
guys, this is
Yeah,
Halloween
she's like,
girl.
This is my season. Yeah. Oh, Debbie, what a gem!
Ah,
Great
perfect.
party guest.
and also so ahead of her time.
I know.
Bringing
wow.
a charcuterie board
She's
in
a modern
1990.
woman. I love her.
Okay, now we have the driver of who's in the polka band and is the one who's driving the van.
Yes. If he does not bring jackets for everyone at the party, we're sending
The
him.
yellow jackets.
Yes.
Do you think he's also like, there's always like the guy like on the team if it's a sports team or in this case in the polka band who's like, don't worry, I'm going to take care of getting our custom made coats.
Yes. Oh yeah. Someone who has like driver energy would be
Yes.
responsible for the
Yes.
jackets. Yeah.
Okay, so he's bringing
Yeah.
more jackets for everyone at the party. But I feel like he also needs to bring a food item. I see him walking in there with like one of those giant metal, not just like an aluminum, like the bendy ones, like one that would belong to like a catering company. Maybe he knows a guy who has a catering company and he has access to all of his industrial grade serveware.
Okay.
And he's showing up with like sausage and peppers in one of
I
those
was just
giant.
gonna say, I want to do a movie crossover. I think that he knows the Sausage King. He knows Abe Froman.
Yes, that is exactly
Like
it.
he
Okay.
definitely knows Abe Froman's
Yes.
family.
Yes. Okay, so not only is he showing up with sausage and peppers, he's like, this is from the Sausage King.
Yes.
It's like premium
Yeah.
premium sausages.
Wow. That is another good holiday guest.
Who is my last person?
The smoking Santa Claus.
Smoking Santa Claus. Okay, well, the only food item we saw him with was a package of Tic Tacs with not too many left in it. Poor Santa. Seems like he's a little down on his luck. His car is falling apart. I feel like he's like a convenience store guy.
Yeah.
So I think that he's stopping in the convenience store and he's showing up to this party with like maybe 2 or 3 plastic bags filled with chips, Doritos.
Yeah.
Maybe those, I don't know what they're called, but it kind of tastes like a Dorito, but it's in like a spiral. So I think that's in one. I like Funyuns for him. I think that he would bring Funyuns. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Plastic bags full of chips.
Maybe he's the ice guy. Like maybe they're like, go get the ice. And he's like,
Yeah, I mean, he's
like, no problem.
He plays Santa, so yeah. That
Yeah,
checks out for him.
if they send him to get the ice, though, maybe the Kenosha Kickers will give him a ride. He would be like, "I'll come with you."
Yeah, I'll come with you. They'd be like, "There's plenty of room in the back for that ice."
Yes. All right, I'm gonna start with snakes.
Okay.
I'm getting very like Chicago mob boss from him, and his mom has like taught him how to cook well. And the night before he dies, he was like at his mom's, like stirring the sauce. So I think he's definitely coming with some pastries. He's like, I'm not into the donut scene from Sergeant Balzac, so I'm gonna bring some freshly made cannolis that he used a piping bag himself to make them. But then he also like has an assortment of some other Italian cookies from his favorite bakery. And I think that he's bringing like his mama's meatballs that he helped make. Luckily, he finished this before he died, so he's able to show up with them. This is a very like Italian feast.
It is.
This is fun. Pizza delivery guy. I think he's bringing the rejected pizzas. Like Dom used to tell. I don't know if it was Dom who told me the story, but we've talked this. Dom was a pizza delivery boy for a while with Checks Out. And no, this is what happened. Sorry to my brother-in-law Joey for putting you on blast. So Joey was also a pizza delivery boy for a little bit, and his like first day on the job, he like messed up because you need to like make sure that the pizzas are secure because if not, the cheese like falls off. So Joey came home and he's like, "Hey guys, like, does anyone want some leftover pizza?" And we're like, "Yeah, great." He's like, "Yeah, these were like the reject pies because the cheese like fell off and I had to like go back and get new ones." And I felt so bad for him. So I think that the little Nero's delivery boy is bringing us like the rejected pizzas because he makes $1 an hour and they don't even give him a discount. So he's just left with the reject pies from Christmas Eve. This poor guy, but it gets eaten. The family is no stranger to messy pizza scenes, so
Yes.
they just add it to
exactly.
the mix. I think that the sister, she has to bring something. She's definitely like a very neat person. She thinks that she can speak French because she calls Kevin incompetent and
Yes.
which is not very kind. So I could see her making almost like something that she would find in like her mom's cooking magazines, like a mint jelly with like a lamb or something. Like she's trying to be fancy. And I could see her actually being a very good cook. She's very organized. She knows how to use the kitchen. She's like old enough, but no one is interested because they're having fun with the Kenosha Kickers and everyone's so blown away by the charcuterie board that they just don't care about her fancy dishes.
I love that you specifically said she sourced her recipe from a magazine. That so checks out for like someone of her age versus like a cookbook.
Exactly. our favorite section. You ready?
I'm ready.
Would you rather share the pullout with Fuller, host Pepsi, or ruin the pre-Paris pizza party?
Probably ruin the party.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fuller.
I'm not sleeping next to Fuller, and I would not want to sleep on the third floor. If you had to pick a name that you're referred to as, would you rather be referred to as a phlegmwad, a disease, or l'incompetente?
I think laying habitant.
Yeah.
Because, you know what? Someone who doesn't speak French may think that that's something
Yeah.
nice.
I bet that's like not even how you say it, but who knows? You know. Would you rather get hit in the face with an iron or have your head blowtorched?
I think get hit in the face with an iron.
Yeah. Would you rather spend your Christmas Eve with Old Man Marley at Mass or drive to Chicago with the Kenosha Kickers in the budget truck?
I think go to Mass.
Yeah, as
Shorter
much as
commitment.
the Kenosha Kickers, I also feel like they don't have heat back there. If you're home alone as an 8-year-old, what are you making for dinner? A massive ice cream sundae or microwavable mac and cheese?
Massive ice cream sundae. Okay, what do you think would be harder to figure out as a kid? How to do laundry or how to grocery shop?
I think how to grocery shop. Because just alone, like, getting to the grocery store, I guess I would know, but, like, you're usually in a car. Yeah, I think I'd pick the laundry and hopefully not, like, flood the house.
All right, so these two are similar, but I feel like they're different enough that we're going to roll with them.
Okay.
Would you rather fly in the last row of coach in a middle seat from Chicago to Paris or ride in a moving van from Scranton to Chicago with the polka band?
Definitely the flight. I, like, always...
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I pick, like, cheap seats all the time because I am not a fussy flyer.
That's such a long flight, though.
Sometimes it works out, especially on international flights, that you don't always have someone sitting next to you. Or if you're stuck in a middle seat and the flight attendants are nice enough, they'll like move you to a row that's empty. That's happened to me like at least 2 or 3 times when I fly internationally. So,
Oh, Laura's travel hacks. This is another similar but slightly different. Of the pranks, would you rather get hit in the face with the iron or burn your hands and get an M branded into it?
definitely get hit in the face with the iron because that branding's never going away. I feel like with the iron, you may be left with like a scar for a
Yeah,
while.
but like, would you want like an iron print on your face versus something printed on your hand?
I don't know. There's something about the hands. I don't know.
I think for me, it would be kind of cool. It'd be like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle.
I'll get an H on the other hand. My last one is if the authorities did find out that you as Kevin were actually home alone and they assigned someone to be your babysitter, would you rather it be Sergeant Balzac or the very annoying grocery clerk who was asking him all the questions?
I think Sergeant Balzac. I just really didn't like that. I didn't care for her energy.
Yeah.
She was too
Yeah.
aggressive. And I feel like he wouldn't really care. He would just like, come over and bring donuts. So,
He would do like the bare minimum. Yeah.
yeah.
She was the one who made me think of that question because I feel like she had very like mean babysitter energy.
Yeah, agree. Cannot wait to continue basically the same episode, but in a different city. Next week, we're going to be covering Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
And I pack tropical.
Yes.
Sorry, that's from the third one.
Jumping ahead.
All right, we'll see you then.